Hey everyone, Brian Gosher here, and just wanted to share some of my thoughts. Um, I've been watching the two conventions, the Republican convention last week and little bits of the Democrat convention this week, and I'm not going to get into any of the details, um, but it's really made me think about a deeper meaning of what's lacking in our society. It's not so much any kind of political figure. We are running out of leaders in our country. And I think the reason we're running out of leaders in leadership roles, and this is just my opinion, you can have something different. But I think it's the role of the fathers, the role that fathers, or the lack of the role of fathers that we play in our families. Um, for decades, the fathers have basically been missing, and so we have children that are growing up trying to find some significance and some importance in their life and some meaning because they've never gotten it from home. I think that's why there's so much trouble with youth today and the violence and the anger and hatred. It's just kids that have grown into adults that are just angry and really not knowing what they're angry at. So they just take it out on everybody and everything. But um, I kind of could sum it up this way. If one thing, let me say the one thing that I believe, again, let me get back to what is lacking the most is truth. I really don't see that in our society much anymore. There's a lot of opinions and there's a lot of people that are talking, but a lot of them aren't coming from the voice of truth or from what is right and what is wrong. And it's difficult when you're in a state of anger and hostility to think that way. You can't. So I was just kind of thinking, as a question to throw out, if you were walking through a mall or through a store and you were to see an 80-year-old woman laying on the ground and a group of thugs kicking her just in order to steal her purse, would you stand by and watch, or would you get involved? Would you try to help? Even though you could be risking your own life because you don't know what these kids have. They could hurt you or kill you. And I think that's the kind of leadership, I think that's the thing that's missing. Because unfortunately, there would be a lot of people that would just stand and watch and take videos and try to put it on YouTube. That's the kind of society we live in today. Totally different from when I grew up. I was taught that you were to help those that couldn't help themselves, even if it was something that may put your life in peril. I think the people that understand this probably the most are the military, people that have been in harm's way and in situations. Now, I grew up during the Vietnam War, although I never went into combat, I never went into the military. I was in the last year of the draft lottery, but I had a lot of friends that went into Vietnam, and I even have some family members that were in World War II. And to listen to their stories, it's just incredible. I could not ever imagine going through what they went through. But one thing that they come out of those conflicts with is an appreciation for what's right and what's wrong, and for standing up for what's right. I think what we're seeing in our society today is good only flourishes when, or I'm sorry, evil only flourishes when good stands back and watches. When you see people that won't get involved and are just comfy cozy to stand back, that's when evil triumphs. And I'm seeing that so much in our public offices, from our president on down, where deception and lies are the order of the day. And there's not even a second thought that goes into snubbing someone out, hurting someone, stepping on someone, cutting somebody off, just to get their own personal gain. And that's what's really scary. But the scariest thing is that there's a handful of people in our society that watch it and embrace it and act like it is the right way. I don't know if any of you remember, it was a story back, I'm probably dating myself, and I don't think most people don't, young people at least, don't know this story, but you remember the story of the Emperor's clothes? I don't know all the details, but I remember that the Emperor wanted some clothes, and he had this tailor, or tailors, they came up and they couldn't figure out something, so they just made something like I think it was invisible, and they told him that it was this beautiful clothes, and so he didn't want to be tarnishing his image and be like and look like a fool. So he went along with the story, and he put these invisible clothes on, and they had a parade, and they were walking through, and nobody would say anything because they didn't want to tarnish their image or offend the king. So until one little girl that was standing with her mom watching the parade, she pointed out, she said, "Mom, the king's naked. He's got no clothes on." And the moral of the story was, how far do we go before, or how far would we stand, even if it included tarnishing our image? We put so much emphasis on my self-image and what you think about me that I can throw truth and right from wrong out the window. It doesn't matter. What matters is how I look on Facebook and what I got people to say about me and to think about me. And I think our society is in a very, very dangerous position. And I think this election is very, very important. It could be, and in my estimation, the election that's going to decide whether America survives or not, because you can't just stick your head in the sand and just pretend like nothing is wrong, everything's going great, and there's dangers lying and lurking all over the place. Because if we don't wake up soon, we could be in a big world of hurt, and I think that's what's going on. So we really need some good leadership. Now, I'm not advocating voting for anyone particular, but what I am advocating is that we need to start getting good people need to start standing up. And in our world today, it's evil is saying it's good when it's really evil, and good is being accused of being evil. We got everything just topsy-turvy. It's upside down. It's crazy. It makes no sense. And I see it every single day. We see it on the news. We see it on the streets, where people can do things and say things and get away with it, whereas 50 years ago, the least little thing would have been blown up as if it was bad. Now, people can lie, cheat, deceive, use deception on a daily basis, and our young people are seeing that, and they're realizing that it is something that they can use and get away with. So, my point to this whole thing is just, and there are good people. I know there are good people, and I think that 3/4, at least. Again, I have no numbers. I'm just saying there are a lot more good people that would stand up for right and from wrong and take a stand. But most of them are standing on the sidelines and watching. And what we need to do is get up and get involved and get in the game. That's what I'm just advocating. Stand up for what's right. Call out what's wrong. And point it out. Don't be afraid. Don't be ashamed. Because I think America stands in the balance if we don't do that, and don't do it soon. Stand up for truth, integrity. Those are the things that mean something, not just my job and getting voted in, and I'll lie and cheat and say anything I can do to hold my position and to control you. We need to stand up for truth and for what's right and get involved. And I think when we do that, the majority of people are there. And I've always noticed this during elections. The polls are a bunch of crap because they really don't mean a whole lot. But when the election actually comes and people come out to vote, all those people that have been standing on the side silently are going to come out, and that is going to tip the balance to which direction our country goes. So get involved, stand up for what's right, and I think America and everybody will thank you for it. So that's it. A little long. Sorry for that. God bless y'all. I'll talk soon. Bye-bye.